I hate to say it, Seafreeze, but I think we might have been talking to ourselves for the past few minutes, because I think my sharing was off for audio.
Oh no, actually. Wait, let me check it. Let me see.
I think it's on now. I've just turned it on, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it was switched off. Bats just told me in the Discord, so thanks Bats for that. If you can hear me now, just type "Chatty is the greatest" in the Discord channel.
Oh, wow.
No,
So what does that mean? Do we have to do this whole spiel again? Just a couple of rookies in the booth, huh, Jay?
I mean, we've got 9 minutes. Do you think we can? Maybe
we'll
do
it if you want. You know, it's our first take, right, Chatty?
Yeah, that was.
No.
Let's just restart the race. Let's red flag this and restart, and then we got time. No, but
we need a safety car. We need the lapped cars can now go. Oh wait, yeah. Now they can't.
Yeah. Oh well. I mean. Well, one thing I will say now that people can actually hear us is that this is a season finale in silver class in season 12, and it is a championship decider between Blin Machine and Sir Charles. Sir Charles is not here. Blin needs to win this race if he wants to steal the championship away from Sir Charles. But after all of the drama we saw in the real life Formula 1 season finale just a couple of days ago, hopefully we can get a sprinkling of that thrown into the silver class tonight.
Yeah, and to make you feel better, Chatty, I did that as well earlier in the season. I don't remember what race it was, but for some reason the audio wasn't going through, so I was just talking to myself the entire night. I mean, I think that night I was by myself anyway, so I was talking to myself regardless by myself. But at least we're live now on both the YouTube and Twitch. So welcome everybody. Yeah, we do have the championship finale here in the silver class. Blin Machine, his task is simple. He's got to go out there and win tonight's race. He does not have a lap on the board, and 7 minutes are coming down, but he is coming around the final corner. Is that him finishing a lap? Ooh, that puts him P2, so it looks like he's prepared. He's only a tenth or so off a broom handle. And I did mention, whilst we were online but offline, Camden Luca does have a back of the grid penalty, so he won't be contending towards the front. I think he's P3 in this championship, but he doesn't have an opportunity to claim the championship, but possibly P2, which would also be a nice, success in the season. But I was just saying earlier that the silver class has put on a great show. There's been multiple different winners throughout this class, a lot of contenders towards the front. I mean, we've seen a bunch of I'll name all the winners off. We've had STX as a winner, Rafa Hulk, Sir Charles, Blin, Wiener Drink. We also had Valid, Camden, Syrah won the 2 Brazilian feature races. So it's been a bunch of different winners, and I think we can see the same here tonight.
So does Syrah's 2 wins in Brazil, does that count as 2 wins, or does that count as 1 win in the stat book? In the stat book? Ooh,
That's a good question. I think he'd get credited too. Yeah, I think he'd get credited too. Although maybe, it's just like the real F1, right? I mean, you have the sprint qualifyings, and then you have the qualifying, the sprint qualifyings, and then whoever wins the sprint qualifying race actually gets awarded the pole position. So it makes us stat nerds very uneasy, because we just want a clear stat. Who got pole position? And then when you put in these different formats, it kind of messes with the algorithms. So people like I guess will handle it a certain way, but I do believe those 2 wins would go down as 2 fully, and then the stat nerds can say otherwise.
Yeah. I saw those races, and he was superb that day. Without a doubt, his best drive, his best performance of the season. He's not here tonight, unfortunately, but he's P11 in the championship. I'm just watching Broomhandle coming around to finish another flying lap. but he's coming into the pits, so he's bailing on that. But he is currently on provisional pole with a 1/10 of a second margin to Blin Machine in second place. And Blin, of course, as we've said, his task tonight is to win the race in order to win the championship as well.
You know, I don't want to like jinx anything too early here, but it's probably a good day if you look at the odds with the lower grid tonight. Unfortunately, Silver usually does quite well. It must be a party or something they all went to on a Tuesday night. But we're here racing. You know, with the 12 drivers, one is guaranteed. You know, Camden, who can go out there and win, has that penalty starting from the back. So you really look at it, maybe 11, and you look at the gaps. You know, only 3 drivers so far in the 32s. There's a little bit of a gap from Mina on back in the 33s. So I think if Blin is prepared, which it looks like he is, I'm sure he's been practicing. You know, some big contenders aren't here. You know, you got Siraz not here, Rapahulk, his teammate who is in the lead of the championship that he can take it away from, is also not here tonight. So I think that kind of bodes well for him a little bit. Although I'd like to see, you know, with Camden starting at the back of the grid, will that alternate strategy really help Camden out? Can he steal the win? You know, I'd rather take track position over starting at the back and doing an alternate strategy, because I think a lot can go wrong that way. But with some safety cars possibly, you know, it's a lot of pressure to get a win, especially in a 50% race. I will mention that this week later on for Platinum class, the finale, we're doing a 100% race at COTA. So drivers have pretty much double the distance to get things done. So make sure you guys all tune in for that later on in the week. We also have Golden tomorrow. But yeah, he's got a pure opportunity. It looks like he's starting his final lap now with 2 minutes left in the session.
Yeah, 2 minutes and 5 as he crossed the line. So the lap time is just over 90 seconds. So this will be Blin's final crack at getting pole position for the United States Grand Prix, as Mina puts in a fastest time. A 10th clear of Broomhandle in the Ferrari, but we're going to stay on board with Blin as he's up by a 10th in Sector 1 and just coming up towards the long back straight here at COTA, and he'll have the DRS open on that straight as well. And then the second sector checkpoint will be just after the corner that follows this straight. So Blin currently sitting in 3rd place and down to the braking point for which turn? That was turn 12, and he's still up by about a 10th and a half at the end of sector 2. Broomhandle on an outlap, Crooner also on his outlap for his final run of the session, as Blin now comes through this triple right-hander, which is similar to turn 8 at Turkey. And now up to the final corner. Here comes Blin up to the finish line. Can he snag pole position? He can, by half a 10th from Mina in the Ferrari. And Mina has been disqualified from the session for driving the wrong way. I don't know if that will affect his grid position for the start of the race. It has.
Last. Yeah, that puts him last. That took a turn. And I think Blin's going to be happy about that, because he was only a 10th off his time. And now you have a pretty quick driver in Mina. Had some nice racing last week at Mexico. Is now at the back with Camden. And also, both Aston Martins still timeless. Their STX didn't get a lap in. I don't know why. Invalid is on a lap now. But yeah, great lap from Blin. We'll see Broomhandle's 1.8 seconds slower, so it doesn't look like Broom is going to improve on his time. Crooner's already done. Omega's on a lap equal to what he's set previous. Rockstar to the line. goes fourth on the medium, so that's the highest medium runner. Might have that advantage going into the race.
And Broomhandle is done. I wonder if we are getting a bit of a timing glitch here, because I think that possibly Crooner, he's invalidated. Crooner's invalidated, so even if there is a timing glitch, he's not going to be able to improve on his 1 minute 32.5. But I don't know who else is going to be able to set a time here or not. TCR F1 Racer comes up to the line and goes third with a 132.455.
And lastly is Omega in the Mercedes to the line. 0.3 quicker, but still 6th fastest. And that is going to do it. So Blinn Machine in pressure times, he gets it done for pole position. If you do need to win the race, that's probably the best place to start. Get that pole position. So he's off to a good start for tonight. But crucially, you see a few drivers opting for the mediums. We'll see how that turns out on that alternate strategy. But yeah, Blinn Machine gets it over around 0.2 over Broomhandle.
And Mina, of course, was disqualified for driving the wrong way. We didn't see it, but it happened, and he's at the back. STX did not set a time, so Camden Luca, with his back of the grid penalty, is going to start in a point scoring position, courtesy of reduced numbers and also because of the circumstances of that session. But we have ahead of him brother of Kath, his teammate, Tafor up in 8th. That's a pretty good qualifying position for him. And then it was Valid Newell in 7th. I think it was Omega in 6th, but I may be wrong. But yeah, it's Blinn on pole with Broomhandle and F1 Racer close behind him, and I think it was Crooner in 4th for the start of the race, and it looks a bit cloudy.
Oh,
who knows?
can you
Threat of
imagine
rain.
if it ended in a little bit of rain? That would shake some things up.
Well, the last time I commentated on a championship decider for Silver Class was back in Season 10, when it was Bambuki against Pazosaurus Rex for the title, and that was probably the best race I've ever commentated on in TCR. So much drama, so many position changes. Both drivers at one point or another were in a position to win the championship, and we did have rain that day as well in sort of the last half of the race, which shook things up. And ultimately that day it was Bambuki who won the Silver Class title for the first time, and he retained it in Season 11. So obviously things are a bit different tonight. Sir Charles is not here, but we could still see a lot of drama.
Though he says, "What a time for no one to show up."
Yeah,
and that is quite funny, because I think their attendance has been quite good throughout the season. And yeah, when it matters for Sir Charles, no one wants to do him a favor and go out there and compete against Blinn Machine.
Well, I mean,
even when they do show up, one has a back of the grid and one got disqualified. So, and those are probably the two that should be at the front. Camden and Mina, upper echelon or whatever, in the top 5.
well, I mean, Sir Charles, you're not here as well, and you know it's your championship that's up for grabs. So you could be here and securing it right now. Where are you?
He must be washing his hair or something. Isn't that a F1 quote? He was washing in one of the interviews. I think he was washing his hair. I think that's what he's doing.
I can think of a few things that Kimmy has said over the years that he's been doing. Getting an ice cream. There was one before a race in Brazil that I won't repeat what he said, but it was very funny.
Yeah, I think we all know. He might be stuck on the toilet. We don't know. He was so nervous he couldn't show up.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
nonetheless, this is the time for predictions. What are we thinking? I don't know if I want to pick Blin, because I've had really bad commentators curse, but I don't want to go against him either. So maybe we should skip these predictions today.
I'm very happy to just let this race unfold and
Let it be,
and see what happens, and hope for the best for everyone on the grid
fingers
today.
crossed. And I mean, you could be supporting Sir Charles too. You know that is a possibility. Blin's really early on the grid. Everyone else is way behind. Here we go.
Yeah, so he'll be sat on the pole with soft tyres that might be cooling off a little bit, but usually the softs are pretty quick to get up to temperature anyway. So hopefully that doesn't cost him too much. But Mina and STX are forming up on the back row of the grid, and we should be getting underway any moment now for the season finale of Silver Class in Season 12. 5 red lights, and they go out, and we are underway for the United States Grand Prix, and Blin looks to have got a pretty solid start. I wonder if Broomhandle will have a look up the inside. I think he might have thought about it for a second. It's 3 wide behind Blin, but he is away and clear at the start of this Grand Prix. The Alpines going side by side into this fast winding section here in the first sector of the track. Broomhandle has held on to second place, and I think everyone right through the field has got away safely at the start of this Grand Prix. TCR F1 Racer looks to have dropped back a bit to P5, but for Blin, the most important thing for him was getting a clean start, and he has done that.
Yeah, very flawless off the start as Blin. Broom seemed to be struggling a little bit down that inside, holding up his teammate a little bit. F1 Racer on Omega. Omega's coming back on the back stretch here, using some battery. You got 28 laps here. You might want to save a little bit, but Omega down the inside should retain it. F1 Racer going to hold around the outside, but he's going to slip into 5th position.
And
Camden starting from the back, moving up to 7th already. Great opening lap from him.
Yeah, Camden, STX and Mina all started 10th, 11th, and 12th, sorry, and have made up positions on this first lap, and do not count them out as being a factor in this race, especially STX and Mina starting on the medium tyres. They could become a factor later on, as Camden is probably going to make a move here into turn 1, overtaking Rockstar for P6 on the start of lap 2. And Blin has been building up his advantage slightly at the front. It's sort of changing between a second and 8/10 back to Broomhandle, and Blin will be trying his hardest to get out of DRS range by the time that lap 3 starts. We're midway through lap 2 at the moment, and at the moment it looks like Broomhandle is leading a train of cars behind him, as Camden Luca is now on the attack against F1 Racer, and with late braking down the inside, he should make this stick at turn 12, and he moves up into 5th place.
And you got Omega right on the back of Crooner as well, almost looking for a move. He's gonna have to stick in behind the 2 Alpines. Yeah, it looks like Broom is just outside that DRS zone as it gets enabled here on lap 3. If Blin could just stay ahead, maybe a Broom and the rest of the guys could start that battling. It's going to open the door up. But Camden also close to 2/10 on Omega, using a lot of battery earlier on.
DRS enabled for these drivers now. Camden Luca looks dangerous to me. He looks like he could be a real threat to Blin in this race if he can carry on this progress through the field. Although he cuts the corner.
That pretty good. Yeah, he cut it real good. We'll take note.
Yeah. Give up the advantage you gained, Camden. Don't do a Hamilton. from turn 6 at Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, but this is going to be crucial here now in the back straight, because Crooner should have DRS on Broom. Broom was outside of Blynn's DRS, so this is where the battling can start and begin. You see Crooner closing on up, Omega's closing on up, and it goes all the way back to STX in 8th. So it's a huge DRS train. Blinn out in front, and he's got a pretty good amount of battery, so it doesn't mean he's pushing so hard. The softs can go anywhere from 6 to 11 laps, depends how, I mean, even longer if you wanted. You don't want to give up that differential in the lap time, but it's a pretty good tire to start the race in. Just depends, when do you want to go onto the medium tire?
I think there's about a second or just over a second difference on the delta between the softs and the mediums. Crooner is going defensive against Omega, and Omega's going to try and hang it out around the outside, but he's spinning across the track. He lost it on the curb, and he's taken out the polystyrene billboard there, and he drops down to 10th place with that. So trying to go for something really bold there around the outside, and it didn't work out for the Mercedes driver.
Oh, he spun again. Hot tires into the wall.
Is he going to be able to carry on? Yeah, he's fine.
He's got all 4. I was very nervous. I thought out of turn 1 when he got on the curb, he almost took out Camden. Couldn't cross back across the track. Crooner on his teammate down to turn 12. He should have this one clear.
Yeah, no problem. Crooner up to 2nd place. Camden, I'm sure, will be lining up a move on Broomhandle shortly as well. Broomhandle doesn't seem to have the pace at this stage of the race, and Camden already trying to pull alongside here in the 3rd sector. And this is a good section of the track for battling. There's quite a few different lines that drivers can take through this section, and we could see some good side-by-side moments as this race progresses. Camden Lucas is going to stick behind Broomhandle until he gets the DRS on the front stretch, but Broomhandle has it as well on his teammate. Camden to the inside into turn 1, and he's got it up to 3rd now.
Yeah, it's crucial, especially for this S section, a wonderful S section at Coda. You don't want to be stuck behind another driver, especially if you think they're slower than you. Camden gets it nicely. He's just still within the DRS of Crooner, so that's going to help his progression. You don't want to let him get too far ahead. 8/10 within the detection zone down to turn 11. He's just about within the DRS zone.
So he'll be able to open up his rear wing. Crooner 2 seconds behind Blinn, who hasn't really lost any of the gap that he was able to build up when it was Broomhandle behind him. So he will be hoping for these drivers to carry on battling. And I think really for Blinn, he needs Camden Lucas to be behind Crooner as long as possible. Camden looks quick tonight, and I dare say that back of the grid penalty that he had is really helpful to Blinn in terms of being able to get away at the start of this race, as Crooner goes a bit wide into the penultimate corner. And I'm sure that Camden Lucas is about to take 2nd place, although Crooner goes defensive into turn 1, holds on to it, but he's going to have a compromised exit, and Camden should be able to go right around the outside of him. They're side by side coming into this S section, and Crooner holds on to P2 for now.
Yeah, Camden lifted out of that going into the S section, which I think is the correct thing to do. Crooner got all onto that curb, which you think is flat out in turn 2. But if you really mount that curb, depending on your setup, you can spin right around with that traction loss you get. I did that in practice last night, and I kind of feared that would happen. But now Camden's going to have the DRS on the back straight here. He's not using any batteries, a little low on the tank, so it might need to wait, although he's gaining a lot in the DRS. Crooner goes somewhat defensive. Camden opening the line up. And this is the section you were talking about, Chatty. A lot of different lines you can take. Looks like Camden's getting great line here for turns 15. Little switch back. And you got the triple right here. Crooner gets a little loose, side by side. What's going to happen?
Camden backs out, but he's going to take the outside line into turn 19, and he's still there on the outside. He went off track for a moment, but he's come back on. He hasn't really gained anything, and they're still side by side going over the start-finish line for the start of lap 7. And while all this is going on, Blin Machine has built up a gap to 3.5 seconds now. Crooner's going to come back again on the inside of Camden Luca, and Camden might just about have it done now as we come into the S section, but that was superb battling there. Crooner not giving an inch in his battle there with Camden, and he might still be able to come back with the DRS on the back straight.
Yeah, I think Crooner's quite quick. I think they're kind of evenly matched. I think Camden might have a little bit on him, but yeah, that was great racing, side-by-side action into the final third sector, all the way up to turn 1, and with Camden going slightly off track, I think it was all fair and square. They just didn't want to touch. They both gave enough room, and I think the outcome is kind of similar, but Crooner's now got the DRS. He's got the slipstream. Although Camden goes ultra defensive, Crooner's going to use all his battery here. So let's see how this will turn out. It might be round 2 for these two.
Crooner goes deep, and Camden Luca gets a much tighter line, and that allows him to hold on to the position, and Crooner going wide onto that exit, which is not the place to be. There's no traction there, and Camden Luca might be able to concentrate now on pulling away from Crooner and pursuing the race leader, Blin Machine.
Now this is a tricky situation if you're Blin, because you do need to win the race, right? Depends when you want to pit. You don't want, Camden's the second or maybe the quickest guy tonight. He's made himself from 12th all the way up to 2nd. You don't want to let him get that undercut on you, because it is quite big here. The softs do go off around now. So Blin, it's hard when you're the leader, so you don't know when exactly to pit. You don't know what Camden's going to do. Do you pit early and make sure that you cover off that undercut? But then you also have to worry about a safety car. I think around here at Coda, you do get a safety car here and there, but the walls are quite far. I think it is kind of difficult to get a safety car, so I don't know. I think if I'm Blin, I might pit this lap, because the mediums can definitely go 20 laps, and this way you definitely cover off that undercut. Although now that I say it, we got a brother in the S section went for a spin.
That's cleared up though, because he didn't get any damage. He was able to get going once again. But yeah, as you say, Seafreeze, Blin as the leader, it's a tricky situation deciding when you want to pit, because I mean, if you do pit first, obviously you have the fresher tires, but you're risking potentially being in traffic and battling with drivers that you really don't want to be fighting. I think let's see what his lead is, Blin's lead to. It's about 22 seconds to F1 Racer, who is in 8th place at the moment. I'm not sure how much time you lose for a pit stop at this track, but I'd imagine it would be somewhere in the region of 22 seconds, maybe 24, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, the other tricky thing here is that you have multiple guys on the medium tire that started the race on. Rockstar STX, Valid, even Brother back in 10th. You know they're going long, so regardless, even if you take the softs as long as they can go, if the safety car were to come out, you're still behind those three. Depending on when they pit, you know, it might not totally be. You might get some track position back, so it's tricky. But my main thing is to cover off Camden here. You know, he's around 3 seconds back. You see a move here, Rockstar on Crooner. Down to turn 12, the Red Bull's going to have the outside. The mediums are starting to come back here into the next few corners, still side by side.
And Crooner pushed out a bit. Oh, and a bit of contact as well. And STX is right there as well on the outside now of Crooner, although he goes wide onto the curb.
Blynn's coming in. Blynn's coming into the pits while the guys battle. Camden's following, so that was actually perfect timing. They're going to be equal on pit stops. Rockstar, Crooner, and STX following, staying out.
Yeah, interesting decision from Camden to follow Blinn into the pits. I sometimes feel if you're sort of a couple of seconds behind someone and they come in first, I'd almost be tempted to do the opposite, stay out for a lap or two longer, just to see what you know your pace is going to be like in clean air, and also because you're going to have the fresher tires. Oh goodness me!
Camden. Oh man, I think they might have tapped. F1 Racer pitted a few laps ago, and Camden crucially got stuck behind F1 Racer. He had to lift in turn 2. That's giving some time towards Blinn Machine. And that's exactly what you don't want to happen in that regard. Gap opened up even more.
Yeah, well, I mean, what was I saying before? You know, Blinn's gap to F1 Racer was about 22 seconds, and Camden Luca ends up being the one that gets caught up into a battle with the Haas driver, and that has opened things up for Blinn. Crooner and STX were just having a battle for second place. STX was able to get through, and the medium tyres are really starting to come good for the likes of STX and Rockstar, and Valid Newell, although he's quite a bit further behind the front three at the moment, as Crooner now pits.
Oh, safety car!
Oh,
what happened? Taffer's out. Where's he out?
He's out on the back straight rather. So I'm guessing maybe that was traction on the exit of turn 11. And his car's already gone, so we don't really need the safety car, but it's out. And what does that do to the race now?
Well, it decreases that gap. Camden's going to be right behind Blinn. You got the top 3 have not pitted in this race. They have an opportunity to pit, but if they do, they're going to probably lose a lot of track position. They might even stay out probably another 8 to 10 laps. But then the safety car is going to be out for another 3 or 4. So maybe throw the softs on and get to the end. I think they can. On lower fuels, they can definitely do a lot longer of laps, so maybe the top 3 could potentially pit. So this doesn't really hurt Blinn. The only thing it does is put Camden right behind him, and he's going to have that pressure.
Yeah, and he'll have to build up the gap once again and try to break away from the DRS like he did at the start of the race, but now of course Camden Luca is the man behind him rather than Broomhandle, and as we've said so far, Camden Luca has been showing a lot of pace so far in this race, going from last on the grid, or well 10th on the grid, to a net P2. And what was going on there? It looked like STX was trying to overtake Rockstar going into the pit lane, but they have both come in. Valid Newell is in as well, so the Astons are going to double stack. And let's see what they choose for compound. It's the softs for STX and Rockstar. And let's see what Valid Newell decides.
Softs as well, yeah. Yeah, they're going to be absolutely rapid. The only thing is they're going to be a little bit farther back in the pack. Although they're right with the pack, right? They didn't lose that time, so it might actually help these drivers on the softs. Actually, Rockstar comes out P3. And STX 4th. I thought they would be well farther down the order. But I guess everyone was just so spread out that they were able to pit and claim 3rd, 4th, and Valid, since the double stack, he's out in 7th. So this is this is really turned, because Blinn doesn't he has to worry about Camden, but he also got to worry about Rockstar and STX on the soft tires, which they're going to be really quick. Towards the end of the race, they'll be a little slower. The mediums are a good race tire. You can push and lean a lot on that the yellows.
And what about the softs? Are they durable enough to get to the end of the race from here, do you think?
I don't know, because I haven't done it. But I was talking with Bats last night in practice, and if he's watching, I think he said 16 laps or so they can last on lower fuel. I mean, they could already do 8 to, and then you see a little bit of drop off in the softs after that, but with some little lower fuel, you know, you can definitely get there. You know, it's still very 10 laps bring you to 22, so you got 16 is right about right. So yeah, and of course these laps behind the safety car, it's basically a free pass for those laps in terms of tire wear. The wear might go up by 1% on the 4 tires, which is nothing really in the grand scheme of things, and the safety car will be out for at least another lap, because we're still waiting for Brother of Cath and Omega to catch up. They're just coming through the 3rd sector at the moment, and every driver is on the lead lap, so we're not going to have any overtaking for lapped cars needed, which is a good thing, I'd say. Because then we'd have to do an extra lap, right? If we let the lap cars through. You would think they'd you know. But only 5 we're gonna let through.
Yeah.
Only 5. I guess we choose a random draw. So yeah. Luckily we don't have to enforce those rules tonight. But you know, if you are Blinn here, you'd like to see the safety car go last lap, right? Because you don't. Every lap they stay out is going to favor the softs, and that's going to favor Rockstar and STX, and they're quick. I mean, they're both winners in this season. Camden as well. So you have top 4 guys are all winners in this season. So they're no slouch of a driver. They can all contend, and any one of them can win it. The first stint, Blinn had it quite easy. He had pole position, had a great start off the line, and he didn't really get pressured. He was kind of doing his own race, worrying about the first stint. When should I pit? You know, he probably wasn't pushing to the max. Yeah, saving some battery. But now he's going to have the pressure. He's going to have Camden Luca right behind him, and the really quick guys on the soft tires. Now you have to get your elbows out. And how bad do you want this championship? You know, Blinn was in position to win a championship a few seasons ago. I do believe in season 9 he was runner-up to F1 Racer, who is the silver class champion of season 9 in P8 currently. So this is an opportunity for Blinn to get some redemption. So it all lies in his hands in tonight's race. So safety car's coming in this lap, and this is going to be quite an ending.
Yep, we've got about, well, it's going to be the start of lap 14 when we cross the line, and Blinn has gone for it at the final corner. Camden Luca hasn't got such a good launch, and I think one thing for Blinn, he needs Camden Luca to do him a favor here and hold up Rockstar and STX for as long as possible, because once they get through, Blinn is going to be exposed for a few laps, I think, whilst the soft tyres have got their best grip. And he's already pulled out a second on Camden Luca, so it's been a good start for Blinn. But look at this, Camden with Rockstar and STX just clambering all over him here as they come towards the back straight in the middle sector, and it looks like Rockstar might be thinking of a move down the
Oh,
inside.
damage!
Is there contact?
STX.
And a spin for Rockstar. And did SGX get damage? Oh, he's gone right off the track.
100%, yeah. Oh man, they just took both soft tire runners out. Oh man, you couldn't get much praise than that. I mean, how much luck. That just swung Blinn Machine's way. And Camden's for that matter.
I mean, the only thing you could say is that it's given Valid Newell the chance maybe to have a go, and he is having a go. Valid Newell down the inside of Crooner, and he's up to third. So Valid Newell now could be the soft tyre runner who could put pressure on Blinn, but STX there, I think that was not the smartest bit of driving from him given the situation. And if Rockstar doesn't have any damage, which I don't think he does, he could still be a factor here. But yeah, that's given Blinn a bit of a breather for the time being, and he's pulled out 1.5 seconds on Camden Luca, and Rockstar has just overtaken Crooner. He's back up into 4th place.
Yeah, Rockstar seems to be okay, and Valid as well, but yeah, like you said, it definitely helped give him a little bit of a cushion, you know, halt that progress a little bit, as Valid right on the back of Camden Luca, exiting the S section down to turn 11. He's going to try it again. You got some yellow flags, but all is good. Valid down the inside, and crucially, no DRS at the moment. I think we get it next lap, but Camden, is he going to use his battery here? Is he going to try to pull it back? And he is. The Williams driver coming back on the Aston Martin down to turn 12. Looks to be his position here.
Valid Newell's going to try and hold on around the outside. Oh, he's got it.
Wow.
Valid Newell round the outside on the exit of turn 12, and that has given him 2nd position, and he's 1.8 seconds behind Blinn at this stage. And I think he's done 2 laps on the softs, Blinn's done 4 laps on the mediums, so all things being equal, I think at this stage Valid could be around a second per lap quicker than Blinn. So Blinn, for the time being, will need to be patient and realise that Valid is going to be quicker than him most likely, but the softs will wear off and the mediums will come back to him later on in the stint. Rockstar now up to 3rd. So the soft tyre runners are coming after Blinn.
And do they get DRS? That's the question. They're right outside that 1 second. Valid's gaining all the time, now 9/10. Does he have a good exit out of the S section? He does. So Valid's going to have DRS on Blinn Machine. He's 8/10 back. Can he get him down to turn 12 at the end of the straight? Or will he have to wait till the main straight to do it?
Well, Blinn's got quite a bit more battery at the moment, about 68%. Valid Newell is at around 30%, so Valid will probably need to harvest his energy for a lap or so before making a move, but he'll have more grip, he'll have more traction than Blinn. He might not even need the battery to get through at this stage. And for Blinn right now, he really needs to stay calm and focused and realise that there's 12 laps to go still. There's plenty of time to come back when those soft tyres start to wear off.
Yeah, I don't know if you just let him by, but you definitely, I don't know if there's much Blinn can do. You might just have to let him go and see if he can catch back up. That's really everything. Is he going to use some battery here? I think he should. Let him stay behind through the S section. Val's going to look in the inside. He's not close enough. Oh, he taps the back of Blinn. Ooh, that could be dangerous. You don't want to take him out now. You want to play fair. Yeah. 2/10 into the S section. Yeah, he's going to have to stick behind, which is just gaining all the time.
Oh, broom handle.
Handle's out.
And where is that? Is that another safety car? It is. Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
What do you do now?
Now, I was talking with him last night. We were doing practice, and he said that if the safety car came out late in the second stint, he would pit for softs. Now, I don't know if that changes in this situation, because you lose track position. You can't be certain that everyone is going to pit. I think you stay out. I think you need to win. You need to... Now, it's hard when you're the leader. You don't know what the others behind are going to do. It's such a tough situation. I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I mean, you have to... the best way to look at it, I mean, if you know what you want to do, do it. But if it doesn't work out, at least be happy that you did what you wanted to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't regret, hey, I wish I would have pit, or I wish I would have stayed out. Die the way you want to die, pretty much. That's my only advice. So let's see how Blin's going to die or prevail. What is he going to do coming around to the pit lane?
He is coming in.
Yeah.
And STX is, Valid Newell behind him is coming in. Rockstar is coming in. Camden Luca. What about Mina? Yeah, he's coming in. F1 Racer is coming in.
Oh, spun out, he's out!
Oh!
Whoa! Man, he took it with some speed.
Oh, where is Mina? Oh, he's... oh, wow. Oh, goodness me. Well, we're down to 9 cars with that. And...
That took a turn.
Yeah. Well, it didn't take a turn. It understeered. That was the problem.
You are right. You know what? That corner at Coda is like it's like another corner. The pit entrance at every track is like another corner. You have to treat it as such. So, I wonder if he didn't practice pit entry. Wow.
So, the top 7. It would have been the top 8, but Mina crashed. But the top 7 have all come in, and they are all on fresh soft tyres, except for TCR F1 Racer, who is on fresh medium tyres. That could be an interesting one to keep track of. STX already pitted at the end of the last lap, so he is going to stay out and possibly move up into 8th place. Crooner has also come in, and he is the last driver in terms of position in this race. P9 for him. He's on the fresh soft tyres as well. So we're going to have a 9 or 10 lap sprint to the end of this race, and Blin is still in the lead, and now the tyre disadvantage for him has disappeared. And the safety car will probably stay out for another lap whilst STX and Crooner catch up to the back of the pack. So it will probably be lap 20 that we go green again. 9 laps of racing we'll have until the end of the race to decide the Silver Class Championship. Blin needs to win the race. Sir Charles is not here, or he's here watching on the stream, but he's not out on the track. And he has a 22-point advantage, or he had a 22-point advantage coming into the start of this race. F1 Racer is in the pits again, maybe to switch over to another set of soft tyres. But yeah, for Blin, a win, it's win or die. He can't afford anything else.
Now, if you're Blin, you want the safety car to stay out more and more.
Yeah.
Just you want to get to the as little laps as possible. You don't want to do. Just take that stress off. Take a nice deep breath. Now, I do think the quickest driver is still Camden for Rockstar. But they're down in 3rd and 4th. But you know, we still didn't see. Valid was like 1 extra lap, and then we would have saw a battle between Blin and Valid. We didn't see anyone really pressure Blin yet. He still has this track position, which is such crucial in a race like this when you absolutely need it. But now we're going to have probably 8 laps. We'll probably come down, come in this lap, I do believe. And thankfully, everyone's got the equal tires. Now it's just about, you know, performing and getting it all done.
Yeah. A practice in the chat. Will Blin get the dub? I'm shaking. So a practice seems to be Team Blin. Actually, I don't know. It's not really clear from that if he's Team Blin or not. Maybe he can tell us.
Maybe he's a Charles guy. Maybe he likes Sir Charles.
Maybe he's nervous for Charles to win the championship. But the safety car is coming in.
I think this is a definite TCR first. I've never seen a championship decider come down to the last race when between two guys and one showed up. And there's much suspense. We all love Blin so much. He's done so much great as an official here in TCR in the commentary booth. He'll be there this Thursday, as well as Sir Charles, a veteran in silver class. And both are deserving of this championship. It's just 8 laps to go to decide it. Blin gets it going here. Safety car's in, and it is away we go for the final 8 laps to decide the silver class championship.
And STX is already making moves. He's got past Brother of Kath even before the first corner. We know how quick he can be. We know how aggressive he can be. Do not count him out yet in this race. Do not count out this man either, Camden Luca, currently sitting P4, but he's looked to have the pace so far. Blin has managed to build up a gap once again. It's almost a second as we come through the first sector on lap 20. Valid Newell at the moment doesn't have the pace to stay with Blin, and it's all fairly neutral at the moment, about 7 or 8 tenths of a second between everyone. But what about STX on Omega, possibly down into turn 12 for P5, yeah, late braking, and that was a typical sort of aggressive move that we've seen so many times from STX. Nicely done, up into 5th place, and 1.2 seconds between him and Camden Luca in 4th at the moment.
Valid did well to keep within a second. Blin Machine sets the fastest lap, and STX claims it with a 34.3. STX can still win this. Anyone really can win this. Still the top 5. They are all have shown they can compete towards the front. Still a few laps until DRS is enabled, so Blin's got to really nail these corners here. See if he can open up that gap.
Valid Newell 3 tenths quicker than his previous best through that section. Look at him closing in on Blin. I think DRS is not enabled yet. Maybe Valid Newell will try down into the inside. Nope, he doesn't go for it in turn 11, but he will for sure be deploying the overtake button. Well, he's only used a small amount. He's deploying again, and Blin defending the inside, so Valid Newell might have a look around the outside, or will he go for the switchback? Blin does well, blocks the apex and holds on to the lead of the race for the time being, but DRS is going to be enabled on the next lap, lap 22, and then he might be vulnerable, as F1 Racer and Omega are going at it here for P6. F1 Racer with the advantage in that battle currently. Omega still running close behind, but let's see if Valid Newell can do anything about Blin Machine going into turn 1, although he's not going to have DRS still until the back stretch, and Blin is going to have a mighty first sector if he wants to keep the Aston Martin behind him.
Yeah, it's a cat and mouse game with the battery, as now DRS is enabled. Valid's definitely within the DRS, but now coming through the S section with that dirty air, it might struggle a little bit. But he's going to have a clear advantage down into turn 12 on the main back straightaway. But now Rockstar's closing up as well. Now you need Rockstar to come and battle with Valid, and then maybe Blin gets out ahead. They're both 4 tenths behind the other. This could get interesting. Now the DRS is open. Blin gets a nice exit. got a bunch of battery to play. I think he might be a little too far back. I think Valid's gonna maybe wait another lap. He doesn't want to dump his battery when he knows he can't get the move done. And this brings Camden back into the mix also within the DRS zone.
STX and F1 Racer going side by side for a moment there. STX defending the inside line and holding on to 5th place for the time being, but TCR F1 Racer with a dive down the inside. That was a great move, and it's got him up into 5th place. STX now holding off from Omega, and Omega's gone wide, and that might allow Crooner to move up a position as well. So it's all going off here in the lower part of the points playing positions, but we need to get back to this battle at the front, the championship deciding battle. With 5 or 6 laps remaining, it's still Blin in 1st place, but he's got Valid Newell, Rockstar and Camden Luca all right on his tail, pushing for the victory, and they still have something to fight for in this championship as well. I think that for Rockstar and Camden Luca, definitely P3 in the championship is definitely on for those guys. I'm not sure where Valid Newell quite fits into the picture, but they've all got something to fight for here in this championship.
Yeah, it's a race victory. I mean, we go out here, everyone goes onto the track to win the race. It doesn't matter what your competitors are. You don't give them nothing. Everyone's doing it for them. Valid using some battery, closing up a little bit more. 2/10 the gap. Will he go for a dive? He's thinking about it. He's going to try it, but thinks better of it. Almost hits the back of Blin. I thought he had a tap from behind, but no, he didn't. But Rockstar, I think, might have hit the back of the S Martin, and Camden very close as well.
And STX and F1 Racer are at it again, side by side, coming through this section of the track, and still side by side. STX has the advantage, and F1 Racer almost loses the back of the car. And Camden Luca's got past Rockstar, and Omega's out of the race. Oh my goodness, everything is happening all at once.
Is this going to be... Will a safety car end it towards the end? I don't believe so. I think we might stay green. Lap 24 of 28. 7/10 now between the top two. 8/10 coming into the S section. If Blin can just eke out a little bit more, this looks to be going his way. He needs a great first sector.
Yeah, and he got a bit of respite after Valid Newell sort of half-heartedly looked at a move on the previous lap that ultimately lost him time. Gave Blin a bit of respite, but now Valid Newell is coming back into range once again. I think he might be just a little bit too far back at this stage to make a move. They've both got a similar amount of ERS. Camden Luca and Rockstar have fallen away for the time being. We got a yellow flag in sector 2. I think Crooner has been for a spin. He has, so he's back in 8th place. Blin still holding on to the lead. And I think one of the problems for Blin is that he doesn't have enough time between the DRS zones to pull out a gap to Valid Newell. Valid Newell just gets into DRS range, or keeps it in DRS range, and then closes it down on the 2 straights. So Blin's going to have to keep defending and proving how much he wants it.
Is he's got that clean air. Really is the factor in the S section into the final 3rd sector. The triple right-hander is very difficult to go flat out following another car. Valid gets really close to Blin, but then you can't really do anything coming into turn 3 and the rest of the S section. He just needs to stay within that second.
Oh, he's so close here. Look at this. 0.2 of a second. Valid Newell seems to be mighty through this first sector. And maybe Blin a bit cautious through there. But this is Valid Newell's best chance now to make a move and possibly take this championship away from Blin Machine. He's got about 40% battery. Blin getting a bit low, 23% for him. And this is a long run down to turn 12, and Valid Newell's going to go for it on the inside. Will Blin hold it on the outside? Oh, he is going to hold it. Blin stays in 1st place. and Valid Newell on that occasion just couldn't get the move to stick. Blin defending for his life, defending for the championship that he's wanted now for a few seasons. He almost got it in season 9. Can he do it in season 12?
Yeah, and the guy who took it from him is F1 Racer back in season 9. He's a 9 silver class champion on STX. Through the final few corners, a good battle there. F1 Racer gets it into P4. 3 laps remaining in this race. I just want to thank everyone else for tuning in on both YouTube and Twitch. We have your Golden Class Champion and your Platinum Class Champion of Batch Plus and Assassin. Constructors are all figured out in all the classes for the most part. And it's finally come down to the final race for Blin Machine and McLaren of Sir Charles to decide who is the champion. It's going to come down to the final lap. Valid still within DRS. He's going to have another opportunity onto this back straightaway, the best chance for sure. And this is round number 2 between these guys.
He's not as close as he was on the last lap, so I don't know if he's going to be able to get it done. But look at Camden Luca now. He's back within DRS range of Valid Newell, so the front 3 closing in on each other here in the closing stages of this race. What must Sir Charles be thinking right now? He can't do anything. He's not in the race. And Blin is holding on to the lead for now, but there's still a lot of jeopardy for him with Valid and Camden Luca close up behind the McLaren. And this is very, very tense.
And you don't want to let him by either, thinking, oh, I'll get him next lap, because Blin hasn't made an overtake in this race. He's always been the leader. So just stay in front. I mean, that's the easy advice, right? It's very hard to make an overtake here. Valid does have some more battery. Blin a little lower. But he just needs to nail this S section. Just this final last time. Can Blin do it? He needs to eke out at least 6-7 tenths coming down to the back straightaway.
I think Blin has gone for a low downforce setup, just looking at the way he's been generally slower than Valid Newell throughout the race in this part of the track, but he's always seemed to have pretty good straight line speed, and he's not had DRS at any point in the race. So I think Blin Machine was thinking about, you know, possibly having to overtake or defend his position on the straights. But here we go, lap 27, 2 to go including this one, and Valid Newell with the DRS open once again, but I don't think he's close enough.
He's going to save it for the last lap. He wasn't really close enough. I think Blin had a great exit, exiting the S section, and also a nice exit on to the final the back straightaway in turn 11. Yeah, Valid closes up in this final third sector and also the S section, but he really can't do enough to get by. Maybe he knows the stakes. Maybe he's really not going for it. I feel like he is, though, by the looks of it. Camden now maybe within DRS. He's still flirting with that 1 second. As we come down to the final lap of the race, who is going to get it? Is it Blin Machine or Sir Charles? The last lap of Season 12 in Silver Class. Who is going to get it? What side of the McLaren garage is it going to be?
And Valid Newell closing up once again, obviously, with the DRS down into turn 1. And Camden Luca can't catch up. He's not in the frame to win this race unless one of these two or both of them have a crash or some kind of disaster. This is crucial for Blin. The high-speed S section here in Sector 1. Valid Newell does a green first sector for him, and he is right there with the McLaren. He has 45% or so ERS. Blin only has 13% ERS. He is going to be struggling on this straight to hold off the Aston Martin of Valid Newell, who deploys the battery. Blin's light is flashing on the rear wing, and Valid is using it all. He's using DRS, and he's going down the inside of Blin on the final lap of the race. Blin goes for it around the outside. A do or dive move from Blin. He's lost the lead with only a few corners to go. Can he do anything to come back at Valid Newell?
He's got to do something. I think it's all out of luck. He's got no battery left.
Valid Newell is pulling away from Blin Machine on the final lap of the championship. There's 2 corners to go. Valid Newell, in an unbelievable finish, is going to win the United States Grand Prix, the season finale, and deny Blin Machine the championship by 0.727 of a second. Camden Luca finishes 3rd, F1 Racer 4th, STX in 5th. Brother will be 6th, and then it'll be Crooner and Rockstar. Oh my goodness me.
In a week of upsets, Blin Machine is the leader of them. That means Sir Charles, congratulations, I know you're watching. You're season 12 silver class champion. Congratulations. On the final lap, it swung in Sir Charles' direction. Blin led every single lap for the most part in the net P1 position. Oh, I cannot believe the upset he might be going through right now.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. But Sir Charles, congratulations. I can see you in the chat celebrating already, but you are the season 12 silver class champion. And wow, I mean, we saw in real F1, we saw a last lap overtake decide the championship, and it's happened again. And you couldn't have written the script for that. That was just incredible.
I don't know what else he could have done. I mean, maybe he just was lacking some battery. I think he maybe used a little too much too soon and just couldn't gain the rest back. I don't know if he could have done anything differently there, but oh man, you knew Blin Machine was prepared for this race, and he drove his heart out. I think he left it all out there. But once again, just like in Season 9, it is second position runner-up in the season. Bearing, these are the unofficial results. We don't know if Valid would be getting any penalties. If I'm Team Blin, I'd be putting in some protests to the court to see if those things can get swayed the other way. But yeah, we'll hear from the top 3. We won't hear from our champion, but let me go invite the top 3 and let's see what Blin is feeling.
Well, I mean, is Sir Charles able to come and talk to us? I don't know. Maybe Sir Charles, let us know in the chat if you are available or not. It would be great to hear from you. I know you weren't able to race, but maybe you're around now. It would be great to hear your thoughts at this time. But I can't get over that. That was incredible. I mean, I mentioned the season 10 finale in Silver Class that we had between Bambuki and Pazosaurus Rex, and that was an unbelievable race. It didn't go down to the wire quite as much as that though, and you know, the added sort of storyline of Charles not being here. Oh.
Yeah, we've never had that before. I mean, we've always had our champions in the final race when it did come down to it. We've never had an absence from the championship, and I just want to thank everyone tuning in for the. And before you head out from Blin and the top 3, what a way to end it here in Silver Class. Silver Class never disappoints. It always comes down to the wire.
Absolutely, and yeah, just to echo what C3 said there, thank you so much everyone for tuning in for that. What a great race that was. Tense for the most part, exciting and dramatic right at the end. That's got to be worth slapping the like button if you haven't already. And if you're new here as well, please subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to our YouTube or follow us on Twitch as well. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter as well, and we have a Facebook page. Lots of good stuff. So yeah, please do get involved.
I'm actually shocked. I don't know. This is almost like, I don't know. I'm like really shocked right now. That was, you know, when someone leads for the entire race and it comes down to that, it is, especially coming down for the championship. I mean, it definitely gives you flashbacks to Sunday. You know, depending on whose side of the fence you are, it is a complete shock. And man, like you said earlier, you cannot write that stuff up, and it is just speechless. But nonetheless, both drivers have done an amazing job in McLaren and all throughout Silver Class. We've had multiple race winners here, and you know, just a great performance by all. And we still have two races left in the season for the other classes this week, and you know, we'll take some time for the holidays, and we'll come back in a few months' time for season 13.
Unlucky for some.
Alright, let's see who we got here. I think we have Camden here. Let's start with Camden, I guess, in the meantime.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Camden, congratulations on getting a podium in the final race of the season. You had a back of the grid penalty for qualifying, which ended up not being quite at the back, but you still had to fight your way through the field to get up there to the front, and you made pretty good progress early on. And then after that, I think the safety cars and the changing strategies and everything sort of got in the way of your progress a bit, but still a P3 finish, and you were almost there at the end with the front two. So how was the race from your perspective?
Yeah, the race was good. I was really hoping to do a last to first challenge, but like you said, I ended up qualifying 10th, so couldn't quite get to last. But yeah, and then at the start I was debating putting on the mediums, but I felt good about my pace, so I thought that I would be able to get to the front on softs, which I think I did that pretty quickly. But my Achilles heel was fuel. I put in way too much fuel. The safety cars, both of them really hurt, and it just made my car a lot more heavier in the last few laps, and I couldn't catch up to Blinn and Val Newell, which, first of all, congrats to Charles on the championship, but I can't imagine what Blinn is going through. I mean, I've come close in a couple of different leagues to getting championships, couldn't quite get them, but I've never lost one like this. So, but no, Blinn, congrats on a great season nonetheless. And yeah, for me, it was a good way to end off the season.
Yeah, and you, I remember we spoke after you got the win, I think in Baku it was, and you were on a great run at that stage and sort of working your way back into the championship before a couple of not so great results at Zandvoort and Mexico. But so what are your thoughts about the season as a whole, and can we expect to see you back for season 13, and what are your expectations for that, if so?
Yeah, so I think this season, I think the end result was good. I believe I'll end up third in points when it's all said and done. But at the same time, I think I had too high expectations going into this season, because the first half of my season was just slow. You know, I was back in 7th and 8th and really just couldn't do anything. And then it just clicked, you know, around Britain. I just got the hang of it, started winning races, but I just didn't have enough time, you know, and all it took was a couple of bad races at Zandvoort, Mexico, and, you know, the championship was out of reach. But yeah, I do plan on coming back. Hopefully I can be faster this season, possibly go for that championship, and yeah, we'll just see what happens.
Seafreeze, do you have anything to add for Camden?
Yeah, one question. Firstly, congrats on the podium. Coming into this race, you had the back of the grid penalty. Did you know the scenario, the situation Blinn and Sir Charles were in tonight? And if so, how does that impact you ultimately trying to win your race for you individually? Do you want to get involved? Do you not want to get involved? How do you kind of deal with that if you did know the scenario?
Oh, I was totally aware. And it actually made me more excited. I really wanted to get up to Blinn and kind of like, not necessarily take the championship away from him, but it would be cool to kind of like be in that mix to like affect the championship. So it gave me a little bit more, motivation to get up to the front. But yeah, I was totally aware. I checked the points before the race, and I saw Charles wasn't going to make it. So it's like, ooh, if Blinn wins, he could win the championship. And obviously, I had a front row seat at that battle between he and Valid Newell. And yeah, I was hoping to get to the front, but like I said, I just had way too much fuel in the tank.
Interesting. Well, yeah, good stuff. Thank you. And yeah, congrats on the podium. And we'll see you back here in season 13. Good job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Camden, for joining us and for a memorable season on your part. And now we're going to move on to the second place man today and the second place man in the championship as well, Blinn Machine. Blinn, I don't know what to say. That was such a great race from you. You held the lead for such a long time, withstood so much pressure at the end, and also earlier on making good calls with the strategy and with building out a gap once safety cars finished and everything, and then to lose it like that is pretty cruel, I must say. But you've had a fantastic season, it has to be said, and I don't quite know what to say. So I guess what a penny for your thoughts at this point, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say, honestly. If I would have lost it to Sir Charles on track, then it would have been fine, or anyone else that actually had any relation to the championship in this season, but Valid Newell just completely irrelevant and just didn't have a clue about what was going on in the championship, which, shows you clearly what's going on in that kid's mind. But I don't know. I mean, I played everything, I had everything I needed. And then, yeah, to lose it on the last lap by somebody that doesn't really know what's going on in the whole season, it's frustrating, but I don't know what else to say, honestly. Congrats to Sir Charles. It was a great season. He was an amazing teammate, and we did everything we could throughout the season. Winning the Constructors' Championship definitely is nice. At least the Drivers' Championship is going to another McLaren driver as well. But yeah, really frustrating. I mean, second time in 3 seasons that I am the runner-up on this championship, and second time it's because of a driver that had no clue what was going on in the championship. Last season, or no, 2 seasons ago, it was Motown, or I can't remember exactly what his name was, but Motor City. He blocked me in Mexico from getting a podium, and that lost me a couple of points going into the finale, and then that was it in the finale as well. So yeah, I mean, if there's anything to learn from this situation, is that drivers that are driving in the league need to actually care what's going on in the league, need to actually pay attention to what's going on in standings and on track and things like that, because I don't think I did anything to Valid Newell throughout the season to deserve just kind of being taken away a championship like that on the last lap. So I hope he's happy with that. I hope he's enjoying himself with this empty win, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
I hear you, Blinn, and I feel very sorry for you, but I would say that everyone here is here to race, they're here to win, and that's something that we all have to deal with. But I do feel very sorry for you, and I don't think I have anything more to add, because I can tell that this is a lot to take for you. So I'll just say that it was a great season, and congratulations on the constructors. I know that's not going to be too much of a comfort for you right now, but you can be proud of the way you've driven, and we really hope to see you back again, challenging again in season 13 and beyond. Seafreeze, do you have anything to add?
Oh man. Well, I wish I could come over there and give you a hug. I'm not much of a hug guy, but I give you a hug. Is there anything? I feel like you did everything right. Is there anything you think going back initially? Do you think you wish you would have done differently, or you think you really left it all out there on track? And then, and to second that, throughout the season, is there any other moment where you might look back on and say, well, if I would have done this differently, this would have happened? Or, I mean, I'm sure every driver can do that, because, you know, I could even say that for myself. If every race went correct, I'd be a 12-time champion. You know what I mean? So, what do you think as far as anything differently could have been done, or throughout the season as well?
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple of connection issues throughout the season. Lost out on a bunch of points in Zandvoort. Was really quick, but I had a horrible connection, so I got disconnected from that one. There was another race early in the season where we had a disconnection. So, yeah, I mean, going back, looking at it, there was definitely a couple of moments where I possibly could have done a little bit better. You know, my internet could have done me a favor. But like you said, you know, there's always something that can be improved on, and that's something that I'm definitely gonna try and you know, do in the next season. Try and improve on whatever I had wrong this season. But other than that, I mean, you know, I really couldn't have done anything else today. I got pole position. I had the pace. I was pulling out a bunch of you know, time on the cars behind. First safety car came out and kind of played into my hand. You know, it just saved me my medium tires. I was gonna take those until the end of the race and just do a one stop. And then that second safety car, I feel like it kind of hurt me. It did help me out to put my softs on and take it until the end, but I feel like most of the grid would have been doing a two stop if that second safety car didn't come out. And then if I would have been able to survive with whatever gap I had on that medium tire, it could have gone differently. But again, you know, can't really play it back right now. There's nothing I can do, but again, I'm just gonna learn from this. Hopefully, you know, the other drivers involved learn from this as well, and hopefully we can improve in Season 13.
Absolutely, well said. And we are not going to be hearing from Valid, but from a few messages in chat. For those viewing, I'll just say that you know, he went for it and he got it. He's trying to claim second for his constructors in the Aston Martin. So I guess that would be somewhat of his response in the interview. And we haven't been able to get an interview with Sir Charles, the champion, since he is not here tonight. But just another congratulations to him and McLaren on a great season. Like I said earlier in the stream, we've had multiple race winners in this class, a lot of unbelievable races and moments, and for it to come down to the final race and such a spectacle is a great thing. So that's it for me. I'll hand it over to you, Chatty, and yeah. Just a shocking end to the season, I guess.
Yeah, thanks, Seafreeze. Shocking, absolutely dramatic, gut-wrenching, or unbelievably exciting, depending on which side of the McLaren garage you are based on in terms of support, or which driver you are. But wow, I mean, I've been, and I think you mentioned just proving that tonight, full range of emotions on display, and what an incredible finale in the silver class. And thank you so much to everybody for watching the race tonight. And we've had a lot of comments, obviously, with what happened. Congratulations to Sir Charles. He wasn't here, but he has won the championship courtesy of the result tonight, and he's had a brilliant season, won more races than anyone else. In a season where the wins have been quite spread out, he managed to get 3 victories and a few podiums as well, which has ultimately secured him top spot. So congratulations to Charles, you deserve it. Congratulations to McLaren on the constructors. and thank you to all the drivers for such a memorable season. Thank you to a few people who have done commentary over the course of this season. Obviously, Seafreeze has been here tonight, and Monaco with the campfire that we had. Thanks to Captain Blade, he's been around for a few races. Perry as well, another name that comes to mind. Thank you to all the officials and everyone involved in TCR. Thanks to Fanatec, our affiliate sponsor for the league. You can use a link down in the description below if you want to head over to the Fanatec website and buy any racing gear from those guys and contribute towards TCR as well. And yeah, nothing more to say really, except join us tomorrow night for the final round of the Golden Class Championship. The championship has been decided there, but obviously one more race, one more victory to gain for the drivers there, so I'm sure that'll be an exciting one. And again, for the final round of Platinum Class on Thursday, the 100% race this season at the US Grand Prix, I will be there driving. Seafreeze will also be there driving, which is great to see. And
yeah, take the gloves out, Chatty. I took the gloves out. I
took the
wheels.
gloves out. Brush the dust off.
I'm ready to go. Yeah, brush the dust. Yeah, I'll be alright. We'll see if I could get through the 100% race without breaking some.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be fine. But that'll be an exciting climax for the Platinum Class season. Again, the championship on the driver's side has been sewn up. There is still a possibility for Red Bull or Alfa Romeo to take the constructors away from Mercedes, but we'll have to see what happens there. But for now, thank you so much everyone. Have a great evening, and we will see you very soon. Alright, we're done. Did Validnul just join the party?
Alright, let's cue it back up. Let's start it again. 3, 2, 1.
Emergency stream.
And breaking news, we have oh man.
Hello.
Hi. Hello. Wow.
Hello.
Hi. Wow. 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 Some-
All right, let's cue it back up. Let's start it again. 3, 2, 1.
Emergency stream.
And breaking news, we have oh man.
Hello.
Hi. Wow.